Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. With you for a minute. We'll see what happens. You know how long I stay. Um, I hope everybody's having a great day. It's a beautiful day outside. I had to go run some errands and do some things. Today was a beautiful day. Now, of course, by the time I get out of here, it'll be dark and probably really cold. But I'm glad I had an opportunity to get out there and enjoy some of it. So let's start the show. Uh, DeAndre Crosby, first out the gate. Good afternoon, DeAndre. Dina Johnson, she says first, nah, you didn't make it. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. Lonzo Clark in the house. He says second. No. But good afternoon. I appreciate you checking us out. Pat Rogers says good afternoon from East Westwood. Well, good afternoon to you. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Ugh. It's been a long day. Good afternoon, Pat Rogers, East Westwood. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Rounding out the top 5, David Herring says first. No. But good afternoon, David. Thank you for checking out the show. Dina updates us. She's representing Walnut Hills. Thank you. Thank you. Mike Ballard Sr., representing Westwood. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's see. Lewis Talbert in the house. Good afternoon, Lewis. Did I already say David? Hold on. Let me pause real quick. I'm really tired. Last night was a horrible night for me. Y'all know I have sleep apnea and I don't wear the mask. And so sometimes I have this horrible heartburn in relation to that. And so I wake up in the middle of the night. I wake up in the process of this horrible heartburn. How do I say it? I don't want to really be coming up and out through the nose, through the mouth. It's the most. It stops me. You can't breathe, of course, because that's taking up all of your airways, and it burns, and it's coming out. I keep a little thing next to the bed so that when this happens, right there, and I'm good, and then But then the next day, when these occasions happen. Yes, Dina, acid reflux, really, really bad. And so the next day when these things happen, I wake up with flu-like symptoms. And it usually lasts, about half the day. And probably around noon, 1 o'clock, I'm starting to feel better. But today, I'm still not feeling great. I'm still feeling some of those symptoms, the muscle soreness and weakness and, throat hurting and all of that. I'm still experiencing some of those symptoms. So just bear with me, okay? That's all I'm asking. Just bear with me. All right, so I said Lewis Talbert, good afternoon. Pamela Kinney in the house, representing North Avondale, good afternoon. Got Nate in the house, representing Toledo. Good afternoon, Nate. Maria Smith, representing North College Hill. Good afternoon. Tanika in the house, representing beautiful Orlando, Florida. Good afternoon. Jerika in the house. Good afternoon. And I'm sorry, I meant to reach back out to you yesterday because we might be able to work something out. You need School Road. I need, Edwin Moses? Sometimes, because they be having some good stuff up there at Edwin Moses. So sometimes I need Edwin Moses. Sometimes you need School Road. We might be able to work something out. But I got busy and I didn't get an opportunity to reach back out to you. I apologize for that. David says, nice hoodie. Thank you. Thank you. Got this when I worked at the station. Yeah, I'm not just going to stop wearing it. Our own Wonder Woman representing Evanston, good afternoon. Jacqueline Carter. Darnell Hunter in the house, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Our own Batman in the house, representing Westwood, Danny B. Dozier. Good afternoon. Got Sierra Brooks in the house. Good afternoon. See, she just being disrespectful. She bringing up them Levinsons. I hate the Levinsons. James Benta, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Representing Vancouver. I remember. Good afternoon. Steve Bester, North Avondale in the house. Good afternoon, Steve. Got Fame. Rothstein, he says Etzel is here. And he's representing Gross Beezy. All right, good afternoon. L Rock says I'm petty. Why I got the hoodie on? It's just a hoodie. Is it? What if I had on a Nike hoodie? Would I be being petty towards Nike? I got an Apple hoodie. Am I being? I can wear a hoodie. It's just a hoodie. It's just a hoodie. This ain't even a logo no more. Special K, any day. Good afternoon. She says, this is Casey, checking in from Arkansas. All right, Casey. Thank you for checking us out. Lonzo says he's, your no vote for Bowman was a vote for AFTAB. I'm going to talk a little bit about voting, of course. Oh, let's see. Nat Turner, representing Walnut Hills. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Ron Twin did not flip the natty. Even though I told him that somebody was talking about flip the natty, and I think it was Twin who told me I didn't know what I was talking about. Wasn't nobody saying that. But you have to consider the source. Regina Denson Griffin, representing Claremont. Good afternoon. Thank you for checking us out. Got Veronica Burdine in the house, representing College Hill. Good afternoon. And hey, I already said, yeah, acid reflux. Sierra talk about wear your freaking sleep apnea mask. Mrs. Livingston been fussing at me about it. I'm going to wear it tonight and maybe for the next few nights. After you have a serious, I'm going to call it an episode, it makes you wear it. And then everything kind of calms down and you be good. Andrea Bustle, representing downtown. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you, Fame, a.k.a. Etzel. Jimmy Carr says you turning daywalker. Okay, I'm not 100% sure what that means, but thank you, Jimmy, for checking out the show. Mary Birch Lavender, representing White Oak. Howdy. Thank you for being here. Dwayne Larkin out there in Mount Airy in the house. Good afternoon, Dwayne. Sean D. Nutter says good afternoon. I believe you still kicking it in Atlanta. And I got nothing against that. Terry Coleman checking in from E-Town. Oh, Avondale until 3:50, then E-Town. All right. Person on the move. You can't beat that. Brenda Early representing Fairfield. Good afternoon. Lamont Jones representing Dent. Okay. Did anybody make it to, I know it's past time, but did anybody make it to a haunted house? You mentioning Dent, of course, makes me think about the haunted house in Dent. Did anybody make it to a haunted house this year? We tried to go to one, but it didn't work out. So just curious. Candy D out there in Coleraine Township. Good afternoon. E-Man, if the show starts getting hijacked from one of the regulars, please give us a mini political science class on how political parties work and how campaigns work. Some folks didn't get the memo, and they still wouldn't. Yeah, I know. Dana said that's not good. You need to wear your mask. You're not getting enough oxygen. That affects your heart. Take a Prilosec before you go to sleep. I know. Carolyn Smith, good afternoon. Mary says free advertising. I got nothing against the station. So, just like, when I wear Nikes, that's free advertising for Nike. Right now I got on some Pumas, free advertising for Puma. When I drive that Honda around, That's free advertising for Honda. Like, you always, a lot of people, a lot of us do a lot of free advertising. Tanika said, I would have burnt that hoodie. Why? It's a perfectly good hoodie. This hoodie ain't hurt nobody. It ain't hurt nobody. Plus, look, I say what I want to say. I helped build that station. I had a few little things from that station, and I really do enjoy this little hoodie. I'm not against that station, even though I know some people want you to believe that I am. I'm the evil guy. I'm evil. You should ignore him because he's evil. But I'm really just the guy who tells the truth, and some people don't like it. Crystal Hoskins, representing the Christ Hospital. Good afternoon. Thank you for checking out the show. Nate wants to know what, Nate? I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that. Terry Anderson, representing downtown. Good afternoon. Spencer Oliver Jr. says good afternoon, and good afternoon to you. LaDonna Howard out there in Price Hill, good afternoon. Phil Freeman, good afternoon. Thank you for checking us out. Yo Underwood says good afternoon. Checking in from Dina Johnson's garage, changing brake pads. No, I don't know about that. Dina Johnson got that big Mercedes, and she takes her car to the Mercedes dealer and pays them like $3,000 for new brake pads. So, I don't know. You ain't got them specialty tools. Don't be lying on Dina. Jack say, what up, Pete? Checking in from K Heights. Kennedy Heights. Okay, I was about to say, what is K Heights? Terry says, I'm not paying anybody to scare me. He talking about the haunted house. Jack says, no, haunted house costs more than Kings Island. No, some cheap ones. And it was, but okay. Tria in the house. Good afternoon, Tria, representing Avondale. Good afternoon. Let me see. Did I get everybody? I think I got to everybody. Hank Merrick in the house. He says, Jim, sir. You're just going to shame me just in front of everybody else. Okay. I ain't got no job, bro. I can't. Bonita Gaines in the house representing Roseline. Good afternoon. Nat says 4 out of 9 council spots went to white men when they represent only 25% of the city. Who in here voting for white boys? We can talk about it. We're going to talk about it. True Lauren says you never read YouTube comments, and I always read YouTube comments. I read all. YouTube people don't comment enough. Y'all should comment more. Now, my Twitch person, they can complain because I very rarely ever read a Twitch comment. But I'm on Twitch too. You can go check me out over there. But True Lorene, thank you for checking out the show. And if you come, I'm going to try to keep my eye open and make sure to read every comment you send. The squeaky wheel gets is it grease or oil or lubricant or whatever. Troy Scott, say what up, y'all? Pensacola in the house. All right, Pensacola. Good afternoon. You ain't got them specialty tools. Yo, Underwood. Let's see. Sierra Brooks says it's lonely on the YouTube side. And Carolyn said one person keeping Twitch alive. Yes. All right. I hope everybody's doing good. Sierra Brooks says, does the Twitch person comment? Every once in a while, the Twitch person will comment. They're not there yet, so I can talk about them. They lazy. You know what I'm saying? They just be watching. They're too lazy to comment. But every once in a while, the Twitch person will comment. Dana says, I don't have a Mercedes. That's probably our rich friend, my own show. I could have swore you had a Mercedes. You pulled up in a Mercedes when I dropped that shirt off to you. It was a black Mercedes. I'm pretty sure Maybe you was renting. I'm pretty sure you pulled up in a black Mercedes when I dropped that hoodie off to you. Pamela Scott says, good afternoon. Tuning in from Phoenix, Arizona. I love and miss all my Cincinnati peeps. But if you're looking for a second home here, I'm your Arizona realtor. All right. All right. True Lorraine says, when did you lead a buzz? You were the voice of the streets. I was never accused of being the voice of the streets. No one has ever accused me of that ever. But no, they fired me because I refused to take that vaccine, almost 3 years ago. I think it'll be 3 years in February. So, that's it. The Twitch person is not my ex-wife. And Stephanie Hyde, good afternoon, representing Roselawn. Oh, it's a Cadillac. I was pretty sure. Maybe you had a loner or something that evening. It was dark. It was dark. By the time I got to you, it was dark out, and so it could have been a Cadillac. All right, y'all. We had an election last night, and let me tell you, Edward Bentley, what's up? Let me tell you, I made a few decisions at the voting booth. I made a few decisions at the voting booth. I have to admit, I did end up voting for AFTAB. I did, because I wasn't sure. I was, pretty sure, like 99% sure. But I said, I'm not going to be the reason that JD's brother becomes the mayor. So I ended up voting for AFTAB. I shouldn't have, but I did. And I did end up voting for Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney, but I had already made that decision because they changed that commercial where she was saying JMLK, and they put Eric Kearney on, and he did not say JMLK. Yeah. So I went on ahead and had made up my mind that I was going to vote for Jan Michelle because I like Jan Michelle. And I think her heart is in the right place. Wait, you told us you and Mrs. Livingston agreed beforehand. I made some audibles in the booth. and I ended up voting for Stefan. I ended up voting for Stefan Pryor. Against my better judgment, but here's why I voted for Stefan. And this was really the only reason that I was going to vote for him anyway. I believe his heart be in the right place. I really do. I done talked to the brother here and there a little bit. Like, we ain't never sat down and had no deep, in-depth conversation. But I've seen him here and there and had a few little conversations with him. And I pay attention to what he's doing, some of the times and listen to him. And I really do believe his heart is in the right place. And so I went on ahead and I voted for him. Now, his heart is in the right place. It don't necessarily mean that his brain is in the right place, or at least can get to the right place. But, and I really do have an issue with his stubbornness even when he's wrong, and even when you can show him and prove to him that he's wrong, he is still too stubborn to accept it for a while. And that I don't like. So he doesn't take good counsel. He actually many times rejects and fights against good counsel. And I don't know that he understands a lot of things or even some simple concepts sometimes. But I believe his heart be in the right place. So I voted for him. Now, I'm not because I just heard Wyatt, and Wyatt was saying he thinks he would be on there he thinks he would have been on there bringing this other perspective and so on and so forth. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But I think he would have. I think he would have gave us as much of the inside scoop as they allowed him to have. And I know y'all thinking, what do you mean as much as they allow him to have? If he's on city council, he get to have as much information as every other city council person. I'm not even sure they would have did that for him. I'm not sure. I think they might have been like, yeah, you don't need this information, bro. You don't need it. Or, he would have been misunderstanding it and all of that kind of stuff. And again, look, don't get me wrong. I read stuff and I misunderstand it. And then somebody explains it to me and I'm like, oh, okay, I misunderstood that. And move on. He don't really do that. But I voted for him anyway. And I'll be honest. I voted for a good number of the African American candidates. I can only think of 2, maybe 3, that I didn't vote for. 4. There were 4 of them that I know I didn't vote for. I didn't vote for Mika Owens. I'm sorry. I really didn't like what she did, and then I didn't like her explanation of it, and then I didn't like some of the other things that she said kind of in the follow-up. That stuff, if you're a representative on city council, you shouldn't be okay with the court system trying to block somebody from exercising their rights because they're doing it on your behalf. Like, you shouldn't be okay with that. Or at least you shouldn't say it publicly with some degree of, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm not looking for haughtiness, but that's the word that keep coming into my mind. Arrogance, with some degree of arrogance. Like, yeah, I know so-and-so went down there, but the courts took care of that for me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, ooh, that don't sit well with my spirit. Of course, I didn't vote for Smitherman. I didn't vote for Linda Matthews. And I didn't vote for Kevin Farmer. But, look, the people who got on. Some of them got on without my vote. Some of them got my vote and didn't get on. That's the way it goes. And, it is what it is. We move on and, we move on. That's the way it is. Hold on. I saw a question from my friend. How you gonna vote for someone who you admit their brain ain't in the right place? Because his heart is in the right place. His heart is in the right place. And even though your brain might not be in the right place, if you got a heart for the people, that means something to me. And no, I do not know Stefan well enough to visit him if he were to be on the psych ward. But okay. Okay. Rosemary was not on my ballot. She's not running in an area where I am. I'm not even sure her primary was that this go around. I don't even think her primary was this go around. I don't think her primary was this go around. True Lauren says, and True Lauren is yelling at me, Democrats took over the races across the country, so when do you think things will change? I'm not sure what you're looking for to change. What is it that you're looking for change in? Because I would imagine if these were, if these were things that were run by Republicans and then they're run by Democrats, you'll get some different ideas. But you have to understand, and people just thinking, hey, there's some Democrats in some elected positions now, so now the whole country gonna change. That's not the way that works. Republicans still hold the White House, the Senate, House of Representatives, the Supreme Court. They still control all of that. So it ain't like because, what was it? Was that? Hold on. True Learn says, all the BS like tariff reductions. Again, the Republicans still control. And she's saying the shutdown. The Republicans still control food stamps. The Republicans still control the House of Representatives, the Senate, the presidency, and the Supreme Court. And all of those things that you just mentioned are controlled by those groups. So the sister that became the mayor of Detroit, the 9 Democratic city council members, they don't get to open the government. Whole different area. They don't get to take federal funds and send out everybody's food stamps. They don't get to reduce or increase tariffs. Yeah, they don't get to do that. So it's a different thing. And a lot of people believe, they hear that, and I think it turns a lot of people falsely against, one person, one party, one group or another, because I don't know that a lot of people really pay attention and understand some stuff. But yeah, all of the Democrats that won, the mayor of New York, he can't end the shutdown because that's not his role. He's not in that part of the government. So yeah, don't be running around talking about, okay, now the Democrats done won all these seats, then why the government still shut down? True Lawrence says, look, I took government class. Then why did you not understand that? And I'm just focusing on you because you said you really want me to read the comments from YouTube, and you asked a question. So if you took government class, why would you ask me about when are we going to see change now that the Democrats won races all across the country? And then I asked, what change did you want to see? And then you said tariff reduction and the shutdown and food stamps. If you understood that all of those people who won don't have anything to do with that. Dana says, I didn't know Mika had as much support as she did. Well, yeah, she's a prominent person on city council. And, she seems like a fairly nice, personable lady. I see her out and about, and I don't understand why a lot of these people don't understand that makes an impression on people. And especially if you move in the way you're supposed to be moving within the party too. Yeah. Yeah. True Lorraine says, I want to know if you felt this is the beginning of Democrats taking control. I felt like all of the races that were won by Democrats around the country was kind of in response to what's happening in the country. It was in response to Donald Trump being extremely unpopular for good reason. It was because this shutdown, as much as they want to blame the Democrats for the shutdown, Republicans, you control the House and the Senate. So you can't say, I'm in charge, but don't blame me for what happens. So, I mean, if they keep on the path that they're going, maybe, but in about a year, they won't control the House and the Senate. Maybe. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. So let's see. For people who maybe hadn't heard yet, Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney came in first, which I was fairly certain that her and Scotty would be 1 and 2. And I really thought Mika would end up being number 3. And she was. She ended up being number 3. Anna Albee ended up number 4. Mark Jeffries, number 5. Seth Walsh, 6. Jeff Cramerding, 7. Evan Nolan, 8. And Ryan James, number 9. Number 9. So that's what we're looking at. And Nate asked a question earlier, and I said we'd get to it. Okay, now can y'all ask AFTAP PureVol for stuff? Is it okay now to say to AFTAP, bro, we want you to start working in our best interest as well as everybody else? Is it okay to do that now, or is it too soon? He just got reelected. Give him a chance. Is it too soon to say to him, look, AFTAP, if you keep moving the way that you're moving, we're not going to vote for you? Is it okay to do that now? Or is it too soon? Or we still, like, look, AFTAP won, and I don't care what he do. I'm not voting for no Republican, so he got my vote no matter what. Because you know he going to run for something else. He not stopping at the mayor. He's going to run for something else. But that was, I mean, and I don't understand, why are y'all still voting for levies? I voted no. I'm a no vote on any levy. I'm a no vote on any levy. I'm not voting for the parks levy. I no money to be paying no parks levy. Great parks. Ain't got no money for that. The school levy, I voted no. I don't have no kids in the school. But school ain't doing great. I don't trust them with my money. So I voted no. But y'all gave it to them. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Steban Speed said, disappointed Liz Keating didn't get in. Steban, may I ask you a legitimate question? Why? What does Liz Keating have that, because I hear a lot of black males talking about and raving about Liz Keating. What does she, because I miss stuff. What did Liz Keating do and or say that y'all all like, oh, I need Liz Keating. Oh, I need Liz Keating. Oh, I need Liz Keating. Well, I'm disappointed about Liz Keating. I'm voting for Liz Keating. Oh, I love Liz Keating. Oh, she the best. What, help me understand Cause I'll give me some information so that I can go check it out. Like what? I remember she was on council. What did she do on council that I missed? That you know what I'm saying? I should be all on her nipple for. What did I miss? What did I miss? Liz Keating was trying to lower our taxes. When? When? And I know this is gonna sound crazy to somebody. When I know I don't stand a chance of winning, I will take the most populist stances that I can take. Man, put me up, you know what I'm saying? You got 9 or 8 racist white guys and me, and I free health care for everybody. Put it on the ballot. I know it ain't going on the ballot, but it sounds like a good thing to say. Lower everybody's taxes. I know ain't nobody lowering nobody's taxes, but it's a great thing to say. But okay, is that it, Steban? You believe she was trying to lower our taxes, and that's why you believe all of these black males are in love with her? Alonso say older black men love white women. E-man, don't you know that? I don't understand it. For real, I don't understand it. Nat says, I definitely voted yes for the school levy. The federal government is trying to starve education. Okay. Vanessa said, I want to know who the 1,000 people who voted for Kevin Farmer. He actually, according to the numbers that I'm looking at right now, got 3,011 votes. 3,011 votes. But look, we're some of us are walking around here acting like voters are informed. And voters are not informed for the most part. Genuinely, for the most part, voters are uninformed people. They see a lot of signs and hear a lot of names, and he had that big sign, didn't he? I'm going to vote for him. There are people who vote just because they saw your sign, just because you had a commercial that they liked. Now, I have to admit, I was a part of that last night because a few of them people that I voted for, I didn't really know much about them at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've read stuff when me and Mrs. Livingston were going over who we were going to vote for, and we always read the League of Women Voters thing, and I went to their websites and all that kind of stuff. But in all reality, I don't know them people. I don't know much about them at all. But just based on the stuff that we read, and to some degree, the color of their skin, I voted for them. You're not supposed to say that, are you? You're not supposed to admit you voted for people based on the color of their skin. But look, that people vote that way. People do vote that way. That's what people do. And if they can do it, I can do it. Jacqueline says that question could be asked for all 9. Well, no, this is different. I think this is different. Like, if you just, you know what I'm saying, out of nowhere, you're just like, I can't click on I'll click on the link maybe later on because I can't click on it right now in this format. And I'll look. But when you're like, oh, I'm so upset that so and so didn't get in, then no, it's a legitimate question. What is it about so and so that I'm missing? Jericho say, ain't nothing wrong with voting black. Oh, I know. I know. Oh, wait a minute. It allowed me to click on the link. So I have to keep doing this. I can't read it. But Cincinnati City Council voted 7-2 to end decades-long property tax rollback. Okay. I think people fall for all kind of stuff. I think people fall for all kind of stuff. Whether she was for it or against it, her vote really wasn't gonna make a difference, and she knew that. So that's a play. Like, I'll vote against this. It's gonna pass anyway, and then I can look like I'm the one who was. But look, that's political strategy. I think they all do it, but hey. I'm surprised the white guy who bought his way onto council didn't win. Can't think of his name. Everybody who was on council who ran won. So he did win. If you're talking about Evan Nolan, and I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that he bought his way on council, but if that's who you're talking about, then yeah, no. He did win. All the incumbents won. All the incumbents won. Which is another reason why it would have been great if, you know, Miss Owens would have appointed an African American. Because being an incumbent becomes really important. Because you out there, you in the news, you saying stuff, people know who you are, you get to meet people, all that kind of stuff. So it's not necessarily, oh, he did such a great job. No, he was an incumbent. And people tend to not like change. People tend to not like change. Jack says all the incumbents did not win. They did. Except for the one who didn't run. They all won. Well, let's run it down. Since people, I'm reading it right here on the screen. Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney. She was number one. She was an incumbent. Scotty Johnson. He was number two. He was an incumbent. Mika Owens. She's number three. She was an incumbent. Anna Albee. Number four. She was an incumbent. Mark Jeffries. Number five. He was an incumbent. Seth Walsh. Number six. He was an incumbent. Jeff Cramerding, number seven. He was an incumbent. Evan Nolan, number eight. He was an incumbent. Victoria did not run. And so number 9 was Ryan James. All of the incumbents who ran won. So what are you talking about? They didn't all win. Seabree says, do you believe Evan Nolan ought to be arrested? Maybe. I do think that the legal process should be followed. I don't believe that you say don't follow the legal process because this person is a city council person. So if that's what the legal process says should happen based on a citizen filing that type of a complaint, then yes. Then yes, I do. If not, then no. Jack says, you thinking about winning the election. I'm talking about how they gonna win and then don't do nothing on council the second time around. No, Jack, that's not what you said. You said, and I quote, all the incumbents did not win. Don't try to flip it when you get to it's okay to say, oh, my bad. I I was mistaken. There's nothing is wrong with that. Um but so that happened, the election happened. Let's see what happens. Life goes on. Life goes on. Things are going to be exactly how they've been. If a Republican had gotten on there, if Liz Keating had got on there, things would be the same. Things would be the same. None of this stuff is going to change. None of this stuff is going to change. So, we had an exercise. We got out and voted. See, this is the stuff. When I hear people, Black Lion, I'm saying him because I see him on the screen. When people are saying, oh, voting don't really make a difference. Voting don't really make a difference. If you put the exact same, if you want to see some sort of change, but you put the exact same people in office and then expect to see change, yeah, voting is not going to make a difference. Not going to make a difference. So that's that. I think though, you have to understand there can be power in the vote. There can be power in the vote. Again, I don't think there's any power in the vote when you say to a candidate, no matter what you do, I'm going to vote for you the entire time that they're in office. And then when they don't do anything for you, you're like, well, but what else are we going to do? But David says that's considered insanity. What's considered insanity? I'm not sure what you're talking about. And again, Doc says, did you vote for Stefan? Okay, some people are coming in a little later. Yes, I did end up voting for Stefan. I did end up voting for AFTAB. I did end up voting for Jan Michelle Lemmy Kearney. I did. Nat says Salty Lakita didn't make it. I'll be honest. I like Lakita, but I didn't vote for Lakita. I didn't vote for Lakita because I think that brawl was a big moment. And to me, it was a pretty big test. Hold on. Hold on a second. I gotta double check something here. And for me, it was a pretty big test. And if you're out criticizing the black people, I guess I'll just say I did not like her initial response. And then I didn't see what if there I did not if there was some follow-up that kind of evened things out. I did not see that follow-up. So, I'm sorry. Um I mean, for me, you when it's hard, that's when you got to stand up for my people. It was in that moment, it was pretty easy to just be overly critical of black people. And I felt like too many people jumped on that bandwagon. I would have been comfortable with don't say anything or ask for a balanced approach. But to just be like, what is wrong with black people? All of the people that were saying that, that's why I couldn't vote for Linda Matthews, even though, Republican, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But, she was another one of them, came out talking about, what's wrong with black people type stuff. You lost me right there. You lost me. Did I vote for Kevin Farmer? I did not vote for Kevin Farmer. But there was no way, even if Kevin Farmer did not get into the trouble that he got into, and the issues came up with him, and I was not going to vote for that guy. I wasn't. Doc says AFTAB is soft on crime. I don't know about that. What do you expect AFTAB to do about crime? Like, yeah, some people are falling for, I believe you're falling for a narrative. We really expect AFTAB to be running around like super mayor, trying to stop crime? That's what we really expect? That's not the mayor's job. That's not the mayor's job. He's not the courts. He's the mayor. What is he doing that makes you believe he's soft on crime? And then what happens is he takes it too far, and now, we're going to have SWAT on the square. That's too far. It's too far. Because he don't want to seem like he's soft on crime. Well, for real, what do you expect the mayor to do to stop crime? Cedric says, in the last election, there were only 10 people who ran. Why do you think there was such an increase in the number of candidates? Because it was, there were issues that were popping up, and a lot of these people thought that, in particular, a lot of some of the Republican candidates and stuff like that, they believed that, hey, look, and this situation and the hype and all that kind of stuff, people won't change, and we can create a fear situation, we can fear monger, and then, we can get in off the back of fear. So like, hey, I want in. Everybody and their mama wanted in. This was just one of those years.
Ronald says it was a young, light-skinned lady that was at my precinct in North Avondale that was running for city council. I can't remember her name right now, but I voted for her write-in. Okay. Maya says I must have been under a rock lately because I didn't know Lakita criticized black folks for the fight. Popped up in my feed. I wasn't looking for it, but after that whole brawl thing, her response popped up in my feed. And now I can't necessarily say, oh, this is where her heart was, but that's the way I read it. I wish I would have screenshotted it, and then I would put it up, and you'd be like, oh, I didn't know she said that. I was surprised Farmer was close to Pryor. Well, and I'll just be trying to be honest. Again, I don't know Farmer. I like Stephon Pryor, but I didn't think that either one of them, as people say, had a snowball's chance in hell of winning that election. Neither of them. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Even if everything went amazing for them, neither one of those two guys had a snowball's chance in hell. They just didn't. Darnell says, like Smitherman. Exactly. Smitherman jumped in that race after the brawl. Because he thought, ooh, white people mad. They might vote for me. Ronald said I had to write her in on the ballot. I believe I have it in the car. Let me go look. Well, let me see. I don't know who it would have been. If you had to write her in, I don't know who Gwen Summers is. And it looks like Gwen did not get a single vote. So you didn't write her in because she didn't get a vote. But I don't know who she is. Alethea say, geez, man, I'm just being honest. He didn't stand a chance. Like some of them people that I voted for, I knew they didn't stand a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. Because again, the election is not about ideas. It's not about hard work in the community. It's not about any of that stuff. It's a popularity contest. That's what it is. That's why people can listen to the stuff that Trump say and dismiss it. Like, well, he didn't mean that he really grabbed him by the vagina. Yes, he did mean that. Well, that's just locker room talk. And, oh, so what? He's convicted of 34 felonies. Oh, that don't matter. Because it's not about ideas or anything. It's about, I like him. He's popular. I know his name, and he's popular, so I'm going to vote for him. That's just the way it is. And I'm not saying this as a criticism of anybody, because I'm the same way. Like I said, I like Jan Michelle. So, I mean, if now, Jan Michelle could have lost my vote. She almost did, saying that JMLK stuff. But Jan Michelle could have lost my vote if, when the brawl happened, she came out talking about black people don't know how to act. I'm sorry, you wouldn't have got my vote. And I can still like you as a person and disagree with that and not vote for you. But she didn't do that. So, yeah. But I like Jan Michelle. I was going to vote for her. Period. Popularity contest. That's what it is. That's why, you got to fight so hard to get out there and get your name out there and be seen and be known and be thought of in a positive light. That's because that's how people vote. No, 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 no. It is not strictly because of what he believes, because when you point them in the direction of things that he believes that they don't agree with, they still dismiss that. They're voting for Trump because they like Trump. Now, they've been told that this is what Trump is about. And he's really not about that. And so they're gullible enough to believe the nonsense that they're told, but they like the fairy tale of Trump. That's what they do. What did Jan say about JMLK? She used it in one of her campaign commercials. And I don't like that. So I wasn't going to vote for her. Darnell said, but that's exactly what Stefan Pryor did. He was out there and in your face every day, for real. He was out there. But y'all acting like he has some huge following. I don't know what y'all think. I'm saying this like not to be mean to anybody, to any entity, to any of that kind of stuff. And I'll explain this after I say it. Because you're popular on your social media and popular on the buzz, that does not mean you're popular. How many followers do he, he got millions of followers on his social media in Cincinnati that vote, that like and respect him. That's the, that's not gonna get you there. And I came to the conclusion, there was some years ago, there was some people that ran for council, and they basically ran, all of their commercials on the buzz, and they were very popular and very well known, and they ended up with about 3,500 votes. And so I came to the conclusion then that the buzz is worth about 3,500 votes. The buzz is worth, if you max out your buzz potential, 3,500 votes. Now where you gonna get the rest of the votes? Go ahead and, lock up those 3,500 if you can. It's usually around 3,000. Go ahead and lock up those 3,000, 3,500. But then, where's the other 4,000, 40,000 coming from? Oh, hold on a second, y'all. All right, sorry about that, y'all. What was I saying? I'm not trading services, Alethea. But let's see. E-Man looks like he's being scolded. I was not being scolded. What was I in the middle of saying? The 3,000 votes. So yeah, where are you gonna get the other 40,000? Or in this case, 30,000, because you would have needed an additional 30,000 or so votes to make it on council. You can get 3,000, 3,500 maybe from the buzz. But where's your other 30,000 votes gonna come from? Yeah. And you got to get out there and you got to be known, be respected, and energize those 30,000 people who know you. That's why commercials and yard signs and knocking on people's doors and leaving flyers and all of that kind of stuff is important. The more you can get you and your name in front of people, the more people know you. Hopefully, the more they respect you and your position. But you got to figure out some way. And you got to mobilize your base. You can't rely on other people's base. Like if you're a Democrat, but you're not an endorsed Democrat, you might get some of those votes. But you got to go outside of that. Like, okay, I need people who are not registered Democrats to be mobilized and get out and vote for me. Because the diehard Democrats is voting that Democratic slate. I mean, that's the mentality that you have to have. The diehard Democrats are going to vote that Democratic slate. I'm not on that Democratic slate. That means I need to get out here and motivate 35,000 people to vote for me. Yeah, I need to show up to the parades. I need to show up to the debates. I need to run my commercials. I need to win, on the bus. I need to run some commercials on the Wiz and on OSL. But man, you gotta put in work. And again, if I was thinking about running for council, I would wait. But I would start strategizing right now. Right now. Making contacts with movers and shakers. Talking to people in the know, in the media, and not just black media. You know that there are people, now whether or not they're gonna vote for you, you might be able to siphon, a few votes. If you go over to 700, you figure out a way to get in and talk to them. And you gotta make them want to talk to you. Because they don't just put anybody on the air. But you gotta figure it out. You out there trying to get, I would say, you out there trying to get roughly 40,000 votes. You got to be a shameless self-promoter, which is why when I be talking about how Alicia Reese is a shameless self-promoter, she gotta be. You gotta be. That's why y'all all think she's the best thing since sliced bread. Because she get out there and say, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I did this and I did that and they ain't doing this and they ain't doing that and they trying to stop me from doing this and they trying to stop me from doing that and they want to stop me from waking up in the morning. They want to stop me from parking in the parking spot. They want to stop me from this. She's telling you, she's motivating you. She's a shameless self-promoter and she's gotta be. Because she got to get them votes. She got to motivate you to get out and vote for her. She got to keep that name recognition up. She got to stay in your face. The 513 relief bus, that's fine. You know, you think about, 513 relief bus and they provide services and blah, blah, blah. Why you think she is always on the 513 relief bus when this there? Alicia Reese is everywhere. She's everywhere. That's part of the work of being a politician. Somebody got a wedding, but you hear that there's a community gathering over there, I might be late to your wedding because I'm going to go to that community gathering over there and then I'll change clothes in the car and I'll show up at your wedding. They was painting a mural in Roseline. They had, for whatever strange reason, asked me to be the DJ for this thing where they're painting this mural. And I'm out there pretending to be a DJ, because I'm not a DJ. I'm out there pretending to be a DJ. You know, I'm set up and everything. People having a good time. And I look up, and there's Alicia Reese. I'm in Roseline. I'm just here to support y'all. I'm here, and she walked around and shook like everybody's hand into place. She ain't had to pick up a paintbrush or nothing like that, but she shook everybody's hand into place, stopped, had a little conversation with everybody. That stuff go a long way, and she's personable, which is like stuff like, that's why I couldn't be a politician. I'm not that personable. I'll be standing in the corner like I'm here. Hey, man, I hear you running for council. I support you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Have a good day. Hey, I support. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day. And I would really appreciate it, but my personality is not a, hey, how you doing? How's your mom? You know, I don't know your mama. I'm not going to ask you that. You know what I'm saying? That's not who I am. Alicia, she gonna know you, she gonna talk to you, she gonna relate to you in some way, shape, or form. And when you finish, you gonna be like, she care. She care. That's how you do it. Just going down to council, rambling for 2 minutes, and posting videos on your Facebook page. It's not gonna get you elected. Being everywhere with a bullhorn is not gonna get you elected. You got to be personable. People got to think you care. They got to want you to represent them. You got to motivate them to, oh, I don't feel good today, but it's election day. And that lady was so nice to me at that event. And she running, and I think she, you know what I'm saying? That's what. That's what you got to do. I don't really think people know all the work that successful politicians put in to get elected. That's why I don't hate on, you know, even if I don't like you as a politician, I don't agree with your stuff. I'm still like, okay, they put in work to get there. They put in work to get there. That's just the way it works. It's just the way it works. So, yeah, I knew Stefan didn't have a snowball's chance in hell, and that's not me being, you know, harsh or whatever to Stefan. He needs to refine. Like, remember when I was criticizing him about his comments about Victoria Parks? And he called in. And what did he say to me? I don't care. I don't need your vote. I don't need your vote. I don't want your vote. You know, now come on. If I'm criticizing Alicia Reese, which I've done, you think Alicia Reese is going to call here to my, 50, 60, well, if I had to count it up, to my little show, 90, to my 90 people and say, I don't need y'all vote. Please, she knows she could use those 90 people's votes. And I might be turning off some of y'all or, whatever, maybe 10% of y'all. So, 9 of y'all gonna be like, I ain't voting for Alicia Reese. Man, you don't like her, I don't like her. It might be 10 gullible people out there like that. She like, okay, I'll take the other 81. I'm not going to call in and tell all 90 of them I don't want their vote. I will take those other 90, those other 81 votes. Sammy says he said he didn't need your one vote. That is still not good. Because if you telling, okay. Jado, I love the sweater. Is this a sign you coming back? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll come back if they offer me the right money. I'll come back and, be their network administrator for the right amount of money. But yeah, I knew that. Some of those people just didn't have a chance. They're not well known and they're not good at kissing butt the way you gotta kiss butt. You gotta kiss butt the right way. You gotta kiss the right butt. You gotta be, to some degree that fake. You gotta kiss some butt. You gotta kiss some butt. A classy one says, then why wear the hoodie then? Because it's a hoodie. Again, when I wear a Nike hoodie, that don't mean I work for Nike. When I wear my Apple hoodie, that don't mean I work for Apple. When I wear my Levi Strauss hoodie, that don't mean I work for Levi Strauss. When I wear my Adidas hoodie, that don't mean I work for Adidas. When I wear my Air Adidas shirt, that's not even a real company. So I definitely don't work for them. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all have some strange thoughts and beliefs, some of y'all. Alethea laughing about kissing some butt. Maybe kissing butt ain't the right terminology. Maybe it ain't the best terminology, but it you know what I'm saying? You gotta be one of them kind of grinning, or, at least, you gotta be able to play both sides and all that kind of stuff. You just do. Fame.
Edsel. I prefer Edsel.
Okay. All right. Edsel.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here excited
Edsel,
about
hold
tonight's
on.
Beaver Moon.
When we gonna get together so I can see your ID, so I can know if your name is actually Edsel?
Where you go? When next time you going to church?
I go to church every Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Text me what church it is, and I'll bring it up there. You can tell it in front of the. You can see it in front of the Reds.
Well, which church service do you want to bring it up? You want to bring it to the early service or to the later service?
Yeah, early before the game starts.
All right. So at 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday mornings, I am in Roselawn.
A Dame up in Prospect?
No, but not too far from there. I'm at Turning Point. I'm
Turning Point.
I'm typing and I can't type and talk at the same time.
What,
Turning,
what street is that on? Wait a minute, is that Charlie Kirk's church?
no.
Oh,
Turning Point Ministries, Pentecostal Church. I'm looking up the address. Oh, shoot. Wait a minute. It just was there. That is 7245 East Lawn Drive.
all right. Yeah, I know where East Lawn is. That's right off the highway. Right off a section, isn't it?
I believe it's close to, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be up there long as they don't ask for no offering.
All right.
I'll be there.
Okay. But what's on your mind?
I'll tell you what's on my mind. I'm just delighted at the way the Cincinnati election turned out. I thought the voters did the right thing. Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney, Eric Kearney's wife, she's gonna make a great what do they call it, vice mayor, for being second in place or whatever, or first council member.
I don't believe that works like that. Just for the record, I saw one of the news stations say that as well. The mayor appoints the vice mayor. It's not based on the number of votes that you got. So he could technically appoint Ryan James as the new vice mayor, and he was the lowest. He was number 9. Now, I doubt that he will because he had already appointed Jan Michelle. But I'm just saying, my understanding of that is the mayor appoints the vice mayor. It's not depending on how many votes you got.
Oh, I stand corrected. I do apologize for giving out misinformation. But, yeah, because I heard y'all. Well, first of all, I just want to say that, you wearing that Buzz shirt shows that you are clearly magnanimous and are a gentleman and a scholar as well.
All right.
There's no way I'll be wearing my enemy's gear.
They're not my enemies. They are not my enemies. I got a lot of really good friends that still work there.
The top talent at the show was ready to jump on your wife.
He was not ready to jump on my wife.
Okay, let me. I misphrased that.
He just confronted her
in some
inappropriately. But that's got nothing to do with it. I got a lot of friends still over there at that radio station. I got nothing against the radio station. Again, like I said, I helped build that radio station. So I'm not anti the radio station at all.
You got a lot of friends over there that still got jobs, and you don't.
Okay, if you say so.
You're showing that you are one hell of a guy. I'm telling you, about promoting their gear. But nonetheless, I probably digress because, as I said earlier, my man Stefan Pryor, I just don't understand why people thought he was a serious candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like people are bemoaning that he didn't get elected. I'm like, are you serious? Like, what about him made you an electable city official?
I don't know.
I mean, I can see like the Winton Terrace.
I mean, his heart was in the right place, so I voted for him, even though I knew he didn't stand a chance of winning. And I think maybe for a lot of people, that's it. Like, a lot of us are looking at him like we believe his heart is in the right place. And a lot of people don't believe he'll sell out and all of that kind of stuff, even though I'm not convinced that he wouldn't sell out. But I just believe that his heart is in the right place. And I don't know, there's something, he seems like he does have a deep passion for the black community in Cincinnati.
My heart was in the right place to be a surgeon. I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to cure cancer. I just couldn't do it. It just wasn't. My heart's in the right place, though. I mean, if just having your heart is in the right place, then, a lot of folks would be, doing some very extraordinary things in life.
Well, but this
you got to be able to do.
Hold on, but you have to admit, what skill does he not possess that would disqualify him from being on city council?
Intelligible communications.
He could get a communications manager for that
Oh, then why don't we just hire that person? Why
because
don't we just elect
maybe
that
they
person?
don't have the heart for it like he does.
If they working for him, they got the heart for it.
Not necessarily. They could be doing it for the money.
Oh, you're right, because I don't think Scotty's got the heart for being a city council. Mr. Johnson. I just don't really see it in him. I just see a black face who the Democrats, who got his name up off the buzz, and and black folks just fell in love with him. Like, he's really done nothing for you. But I digress again, because like I said, I just Stefan just didn't do it for me. He just didn't. It was just like, all right, but I get it. Community council type of guy, but to be an administrator of the whole city, pump your brakes a little bit, young fella. That ain't your cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I felt. I'm not trying to change anybody's.
So what do you think
anything.
he's more suited for? Because you have to admit, as an advocate for the community, he has been an advocate for the community. You have to admit that.
Town crier. I mean, you asked, I'm answering. I mean, the town crier.
That's
stupid. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, you asked me what I think he was, suitable for. Not city administration. Let's quit. Just let anybody have these important roles in our lives. Just like they did with Trump and the presidency. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro. You shouldn't be president. No, but somehow he did, and and we're paying for it. And same thing with him. We would have paid for it. With him. They would have walked him. They would have stuck an aide with him, a corrupt aide or somebody would have said, yeah, this person has been interning for years. They know what they're doing. They'd have walked him into something like Pastor and what's that black lady name? Tamaya. They'd have walked him into something like that. I mean, it's just written all over his face, because he's got the perfect punchline that he always uses for a person that was about to go to prison. I love you. It ain't a damn thing you can do about it. That's what he was said to somebody when they jammed him up. I still love you. It ain't nothing you can do about it. I like the guy, but it's like you asking for big boy shit.
Okay.
You trying to step into the big boy league, and right now you playing third grade ball.
Look, I'm only going to push back so much because, in all honesty, some of what you're saying, a lot of what you're saying is true. But I like the guy. So.
Right. He's a very likable guy. Not saying I would let him watch my grandkids or nothing, but, seems like a very likable, respectable guy. He's got a respectable name in Cincinnati, because of his dad and whatnot, but just this ain't for you, bro. I appreciate I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort, but this ain't for you. But now it's getting a little late, so I gotta hop off here because I gotta prepare for this super beaver moon that's coming out tonight. As a wolf, this is kind of my time of year. Beaver moons. You know what I'm saying? Big beaver moons. I can't wait to get out here and howl in front of it.
All right.
All right, hey, but other than that, hey, it's been real. I had fun, and we'll try this again someday soon, Emanuel. But until then, oh!
All right, that was Fame. Caller.
Yes, this is Victor.
Hey, how you doing, Victor?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Emmanuel?
Doing good.
Good. Hey, loving the conversation tonight. I want to talk about the election because I really think I had posted this probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said if you didn't get the Democrat endorsement, you probably can wrap it up because historically, the last few elections, everyone on the slate typically gets in almost 100% of the time, and so I think you talk about the strategy and reaching out to mobilizing new, maybe people that haven't voted in a while, and getting a new 30, 40,000. The challenge is you get those new voters, they still going to vote for some of those people on that slate, and now you're still in that situation where, hey, we got 30,000 more, but now Jan Michelle got 70,000 votes, and maybe that 30,000 voted for me, but I'm still at the bottom. So I think the strategy have to be, how do I get that Democratic endorsement, which can be challenging.
But I think if you can put together, and I'm going to use me. If I could put together a team of people who care, who are qualified, who could, potentially like just under that threshold, we not going to get the Democratic whatever, but we as a team are going to get out and we're going to mobilize 30-something thousand people to get out and vote. We're going to mobilize and educate. So we're going to let them know these are your people. This team, this is your slate. Then you got a chance. But that requires a number of people to work together. And it is a long-term, full-time job just to get that spot, which makes it something that most people are not going to want to do.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. It would have to be, like you said, strategizing now, not in 2026. No, now. But you look at it. Let's look at Liz Keating. Liz Keating had the name recognition. She'd been on council before, but she also got the R, Republican, and they're just not winning in this season. And she raised the most, I think, in Cincinnati council election history, over $200,000. She raised the most money and still came in at 10. And you have a Ryan James that no one really knew, but because he had that Democratic endorsement, and I think they also felt that because he was new, that maybe he'll get it, maybe not, because previous elections we have like his name was Philip. Got his last name. His name was Philip, and he didn't win. He had the endorsement, but he didn't win. He made some comments he said something about the gays, and I think that turned some people off in the Democrat Party. But he also didn't have the name recognition. And so Ryan James didn't really have that name recognition. So you have a Mayor Aptab and Jan Michelle do an endorsement and say, hey, this is Ryan James, everyone. Vote for him because he had that name recognition. So they use Aptab and Jan Michelle to help pull him up some because they knew that perhaps maybe he wouldn't get it. But again, he's still on that blue slate. So his chances of winning without name recognition, without not much campaigning. Think about it. I really feel these guys can get the Democrat endorsement and sit back, don't do much campaigning, and they still will win. And that's a problem for me.
Look, I agree with you. I can't, kind of challenge anything that you said, but I just wish it wasn't that simple. I I wish you had to put in some work.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like, and I also feel that perhaps the Democrat Party already have their next slate of candidates they want to endorse anyway. So if you're trying to get their endorsement, who's to say that they already have the people they have picked out? Now, I get a lot of flack for saying this, but I wanted a council that was Democrat. I wanted some Republicans. I want some independents. Like, Stephon Pryor, met the guy, really nice guy. He is one that I would love to see on council because he's not going to just vote yes. I mean, with this whole blue slate, what's the point of doing roll call vote? Just say, y'all are going to vote yes. Let's go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda because they're all just kind of like, I want a Christopher Smitherman that's going to challenge. I want a Stephon Pryor. I want a couple Republicans in there. Why not? Because we want to see different perspectives. Not saying they all got the same perspective, but for the most part, they're all going to probably tend to vote the same way.
Well, I think one of the reasons not is because I do believe that people get in there and they know people and they funnel money and things of that nature to people who maybe they shouldn't because they're beholden to people from being there. So, and I'm not saying that couldn't happen on the Democrat side. I'm certain it probably does, but I know that it happens some of the people on the Republican side, and I wouldn't want to see that again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just gonna, I just found out through experience with, running before, and I remember one of the guys told me that was really close after that, like, hey, if you don't get that Democrat endorsement, it's much of a wrap for you,
It does
and
seem
and
that
I'm
way.
and I'm seeing that, and I wouldn't get the Democrat endorsement because some things that I personally believe, I wouldn't get it. I have some stance on certain things because of my faith, and my personal experiences. I probably wouldn't get their endorsement. So if I were to run again, you're right. I would have to do some strong mobilizing, some strategizing, and with the hope that perhaps maybe that works. But I wish our city wasn't like that. I wish they really would find out about the candidates and vote for their platforms, because I'm very sure some people just went down there and just voted their name and don't even know what they're standing for. But hey, they endorse Democrats, so I'm just going to check the box, and that's why we have the same council. Not that I didn't want the same council. I wanted to shake things up, but that's who we are. That's all I got. E. Thank you, man.
Do you plan on running again?
Uh, I said no. Because and I'm not. I don't. I wouldn't want the. I probably wouldn't want the Republican endorsement either. I'm really independent. I like to be an independent thinker, and being an independent in our city is not going to get us there. You're not going to probably win, and I see that. But again, like you said, it will have to take some hard work. I will have to probably spend most of my time, put my business to the side to really strategize to do that. But I just said, hey, I'll be impacting the community the way I am right now. If it's not on council, I can do other things to still impact our community.
All right. All right.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
You
Thanks.
too.
Thanks for your
Bye.
call. All right. I mean, at the state of things right now. Now, you never know what might happen. Things can change, and things can change. Somebody asked the question, why did they? Hold on, where's the question? Why did Ryan James get the endorsement over more well-known Democrats like Stefan or Lakita or Dale Mallory? Well, over Stefan, that makes sense. And I don't want it to sound like I'm beating up on Stefan, but he's not polished. And that's, really being nice and putting it mildly. He's not polished. And he's not. And over Lakita, over Dale Mallory, look, there are cliques everywhere you look, right? So if you're not in the clique, in power, in the party, you might not be able to get the endorsement. If you're not, you know what I'm saying? If your guy ain't in with the person, then you on the outside looking in. So if your guy is criticizing the machine, why would the machine endorse you? That's playing politics. And that's why you got to be careful. I'm going to say this, but I don't really mean it. I'll explain that. You got to be careful who you align yourself with, because there are cliques. And if you not with the popular clique, you could just be, as my mama used to say, ass out. And I think maybe that's what happened. And so if you're gonna, I don't want to call it a coup, but if you're gonna kind of be critical of the party leaders and all of that kind of stuff, you better, what do they say? If you take a shot at the king, you better not miss. You got to have your own team of some substantial to equal power. But if it's just a few of y'all, we don't have to negotiate with y'all. We can just shut y'all out. Like, you a Democrat, sure, you a Democrat, whatever. But we don't pay no attention to you. And now you got to run as an independent because you was on the wrong team. That's politics. And that's just the way it be sometimes. Nate.
E-Man, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
I'm so glad you doing this show, and I got to admit, I've been listening to you, but I've been driving my mother-in-law back and forth, and so when she's in, we listen to Luther Vandross, and so I've been missing a whole bunch of the show. But I've heard some of the points that you made, and I just want to elaborate on some of them and throw out some other things. I don't know if you read, I was able to put a comment in there saying Stefan Pryor is, to me, he's this year's version of Kelly Prather. And what I meant by that is, you know, people who were on the ground said, man, we see Kelly Prather everywhere. They just thought she was a shoo-in, you know. And it's something I remember Chris Smitherman, when he took over the NAACP, saying, you know, people thinking that what's going on the buzz is what's being represented at the NAACP, and the buzz is not the NAACP. And I think a lot of people think that what they see on social media, not really even thinking it through. Like, if you friends with Stefan on Facebook and you follow his videos, you see him going live, and like you said, he's showing up with a bullhorn and he's showing up at city council. You thinking, if you don't really think it through, you thinking everybody in the city is seeing Stefan. Everybody is seeing that brother out there fight. No, everybody, that's a small sliver of Cincinnati that's watching that stuff. And quiet as kept, a lot of people who watching it is saying, I don't like that. I don't think he ought to be doing that. I don't think he ought, you know. And so, number one is this reality versus when you in a bubble way of thinking. That's I think a problem in the black community. Number two, you know, I can speak from personal experience. I want to tell a quick story. I promise it's going to be quick. When I was over at the university, well, I won't even start there. Me, Sam Malone, Ken Anderson, whose name ain't really Ken Anderson, but that's another story, and Rodney Brown, all around about the same time, decided that we might want to consider running for office. And so we all went, that the chairman of the Democratic Party was Tim Burke. He had been the party chair for a long, long time. And so we all, at various times, went and had, the way to get into the party, so to speak, you had to go through the boss of the party, and that was Tim Burke. And so Tim Burke would meet with people. So I went and met with him. You go down to his law firm. He didn't meet you at party headquarters. He met you down at his law firm, where it was an imbalance of power, because it was basically coming to him, asking him to, you know, sign off on you. You're one of the good ones, and I'm gonna, you know, help you. And so, one by one, Tim Burke said no to Ken Anderson. He said no to Sam Malone. He said no to Rodney Brown, and he said no to me. And so, when that happens, then you got to go back and ask yourself, you know, now to his credit, Tim didn't just say no. He would say something like, hey, you know, I really need to see you. You know, you haven't volunteered on anybody's campaign, even though that wasn't true in my case, but it was true in their case, because I had volunteer for Bill Bowen when he ran for Congress, and I'd had some volunteer for another guy. Last name was Maloney, but the point is, he would say stuff like, he would tell you like, okay, you need to go work for somebody, or, you know, you need to become a precinct executive. And I want to come back to the precinct executive piece of it. Or he would say, you know, how are you going to raise money for this? You know, let's say we endorsed you. How would you fund your campaign? Would you be able to donate money to the party so that other people, you know, could help? And again, one by one, he turned me, Ken Anderson, Sam Malone, and Rodney Brown down. So Sam Malone, Ken Anderson, and Rodney Brown all basically said F him and F the Democrats. They all went over to the Republican Party. The Republican Party gave them sort of a similar thing, but they embraced him. So that's how Sam Malone jumped from being a Democrat to being a Republican. Same goes for Ken Anderson. Now, people are criticizing the slate, and a whole bunch of these people I don't even think understand how the parties work. They don't even understand why they would want to be in the party. When I was coming along, the reason that, like, Rodney was my friend, I ain't never really been, just to be honest, I ain't really never been friends with Ken Anderson. And I guess I would consider me and Sam friends because actually Sam have had me over to his house before. He ain't never gave me no dinner, but he has had me over to his house. I really liked Sam, you know what I'm saying, and we got along.
Yeah, Sam's a good guy.
So when Rodney got in the party, Rodney was considered running for state representative as a Republican in a heavily Democratic district. And so people were saying to him, man, if you go do that, it's basically a suicide mission. The numbers ain't in your favor. You're going to have to run an outstanding race. And so what the Republicans did, to their credit, and the Democrats started doing this later on, was they had something called candidate school, where they went in and they taught you from their perspective what it takes. They actually had a manual. It had stuff like, here's how you fundraise. Here's a sample letter that you would send out. Here's how you find people with money. Here's how you go, you know what I'm saying, get campaign finance reports of other people. If they gave to them, they might give to you. Here's how you do mailings, which is an important thing. Maybe less so now, but back in the day, if you wasn't mailing stuff to every voter or every, it's a way you can weed them out. If I'm running as a Democrat and I'm trying to get the endorsement, I might not spend a whole bunch of money on mailers to people who are registered Republicans. You get what I'm saying? And so it was all this stuff in here. How do you do this? How do you maximize your money? How do you maximize your time? How do you put together a team? How do you pick a campaign manager? How do you do all these different things? This is, and again, the Republicans was doing it back in the day, but the Democrats are doing it now. That's why you want to be part of the party. People think it's just so simple. Oh, the only reason these people are getting elected is because their names get put on a blue ticket. No, it's not that simple. Now, one thing that black people have never done, and it's been tried and it's been said, and it's, people have made an effort to sort of organize it. Oh, before I go there. Why is that blue ticket important? It ain't just because of that. It's because somebody pays to have that blue ticket, that sample ballot, mailed out to all these registered voters to their homes. That's something that the average candidate, even if you was a Liz Keating, and I think the guy just said she raised $200,000, even if you Liz Keating, you probably wouldn't want to spend a big hunk of your money mailing out mailers. That's where the party comes in. So the party mails them things out, and then the party does this. Where do people get those things if they didn't get them through the mail? They get them when they go to vote. Those people, for the most part, ain't out there volunteering. They go to the party. The party says, we need people. We got, let's say, 100 polling locations. I'm sure it's more than that throughout the county. We're going to pay, the Board of Elections will pay you, I think my daughter told me, I think they offered her something like y'all paying $200 to go work the polls these days? What a party might come in and say, if you want to go work the polls from the inside where you wouldn't be a partisan, they're going to give you $200. Well, if you come pass out them blue tickets and stand outside all day long, we will pay you. It might be more than them. It might be less. I don't know what the going rate is. I'm sure, hopefully, somebody could put it in the chat. But the point is, the individual candidate, Stephon, let's just use Stephon, since y'all been mentioning his name. Stephon ain't going to have money or volunteers to stand out at every 100 polling locations passing out his literature. And no matter how good his fast his what's that thing, that scooter he called
the Segway or whatever,
he can't get around to all them places. So this is where an organized political party, even if they ain't necessarily so good, this is where they come into play. Now, if black people were smart, they would join the party. They wouldn't just go vote Democrat and say, I'm a Democrat. They would actually be part of the mechanism.
But a lot of people, hold on. A lot of people, it's not if black people were smart, because I think black people are smart. But a lot of people don't know how to join the party. It seems like it's a insiders club. And for a lot of people, you say, hey, join the party. They thinking, I ain't got time to join no party. I ain't got time to be, doing all this and that. So for a lot of people, it seems out of reach.
Well, I wish that we would take some time on these podcasts, which I'm glad you're doing this, and on these radio stations and on these social media platforms, and we would explain the process, explain why it's so important that people actually go join the party. Because you join the party and become a precinct executive or a member of officially it's called a member of the Central County Central Committee, and then you can become a precinct executive if you can get enough of your precinct executives to think that you got some leadership ability. You can become a ward chair, and if you got enough juice and you got some charisma, maybe you can rise up to an underboss of the party, or maybe one day you can become the boss. So, actually, I want to have a little fun because you just try to twist me up like you be doing, Twin. Is this the time where I'm supposed to start cussing at you?
This is the time when they do normally start cussing. But no, for real, maybe I was gonna ask you to explain. I might reach out to the party and see if I can get a representative in here just to explain to people how to get involved and join. Like, people think I'm a registered Democrat. I did join the party, but it's different.
Right. Well, and again, the reason why you would want to join the party is those endorsements come from members of the party who say, okay, when they say, well, what you want to do, in the party, you say, I want to be on the screening committee. I want to help. I want to be on the endorsement committee. I want to be, and so being a part of the party, they also give you training. If it's a good party, if it's functioning properly, they give you training. They train you on a whole bunch of different stuff. How to canvass, how to go knock on doors. How do you get the list to know which doors to knock on? It's all kind of stuff that the average citizen never knows is going on. So I guess, well, let me give you a brief of how it works. So it's different in different counties. But I think in Hamilton County, every 4 years, when the people go vote for in the primary for who's going to represent them in the presidential election years, in the primary, you can say, I want to be the precinct executive over my neighborhood. You know who's a good person if you can't go to the party? Ozzie Davis. I don't know if you got a relationship with him. Ozzie is right now a precinct executive. And then if I forget before I hang up, I want you to remind me to talk about the Black Political Action Committee and Dwight Tillery, because I believe Dwight Tillery is about to try to breathe some life into that organization that he started. But so anyway, the way to get it is two different ways. In some instances, you can just call the Board of Elections and say, I want to be a precinct executive. They'll say, okay, you're a registered voter. This is your address. This is your precinct. Your name is going to be on the ballot. And then in most instances, you won't have nobody telling you. Now, when I did it twice. And when Tim Burke found out that I was going to be a precinct executive, he went and recruited a guy who lived in my neighborhood who nobody knew to run against me. And so I had to do a campaign to win the election to become the precinct executive. And I whooped dude because people did know me in my neighborhood, and I did run a real campaign. And then once you get there, if you don't have some people with you, this may be a whole nother story. I don't want to get too far into the weeds. But so you have to make it known that you want to be a precinct executive. You put your name on the ballot. If it's not the situation where you can just call the Board of Elections, then you might have to go get a petition. And I think it's like 5 of your neighbors who are registered voters and who are in your party. You get them to sign the petition. You take the petition down to the Board of Elections, and then you become official. So if you win the election, and a lot of times if you don't have a opponent, if the party don't have it out for you, and they don't go round somebody up to run against you, as long as you vote for yourself, you won.
What's the benefit of being a precinct executive?
Say what?
What is the benefit of becoming a precinct executive? What does that mean, and what's the benefit of it?
So the first and the most important thing is you get a vote on who is the party chairman in the county. Now, a lot of times it be a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes maneuvering where people jockeying for position, and so the vote is just like a rubber stamp because don't nobody challenge the existing party chairman, right? But there are some years, like one year, Steve Reese said, I don't like what's going on in the Democratic Party, and I want to be the party chairman. So he put his name on the ballot, and him and Tim Burke, they rumbled, and guess what? And I know some people ain't going to like this. Steve Reese, by doing that, was able to get some concessions out of Tim Burke, and those concessions led to Alicia Reese getting the endorsement from the Democratic Party, and that's how she won her first seat on city council. Now she had to do a whole bunch of good campaigning and a whole bunch of work and all them things we talked about earlier. So the first thing is you get a vote on who's the party chairman. Number 2, if you stick with it, you can, like I say, you can get on one of these committees. You can get free training and everything that has to do with politics and politicking. When these people have paid jobs, a lot of times they want black people to go volunteer. They want us to work like slaves when you're a precinct executive. But there are instances when you could say, hey, look, I already volunteered on 2 different campaigns. They was winning campaigns. This is what I learned. This is what I know. And I ain't trying to do no more volunteer positions. A lot of these campaigns have paid positions. So they look to precinct executives to fill those positions. They ain't stuff that get advertised, you know what I'm saying? You never hear about them. It's something that comes from your inner circle. Now, my daughter is my precinct executive up here in Toledo. And even though she fights me to this day, Dad, I don't want to be in this politics stuff. I don't know why you push me into put my name on the ballot. I don't even want. She don't want to go to the meetings. And what I tell her, and what I'm telling your audience is, here is a non-political reason. The leaders of your community are part of these parties. Some of the richest people, some of the job creators, some of the managers, the supervisors, the bosses, they sit in the meetings. If you go, at this point in my life, I'm convinced that networking and relationships is 95% of how you become a success. So you sit in the meetings and you rub elbows with some of these people, and even if it ain't a political job, they might go, and this has happened. The county treasurer might go to the party and say, hey, I'm gonna have some summer jobs, you know what I'm saying? And I'm letting y'all know first. So before it gets announced publicly, if you in the meetings, you know, hey, I kind of wanted to go work for the county treasurer or the auditor or the clerk of courts or the or city council. So it's all kind of benefits to being a precinct executive. But for me, the most important one is when people complain about who got the endorsement and who didn't get the endorsements on whether it's for Congress or for a mayor or for council or for county commission, I always say, why aren't we being proactive instead of reactive? Why aren't black people going in, and you could do it real quietly? Black people could take over the party. I happen to know the congresswoman out of Cleveland. Her name is Shante Brown. I knew her because I used to work in Cleveland, but I also used to dibble and dabble in Cleveland politics, which is way more cutthroat than it is in Cincinnati. Black people got a heavy presence in that Cuyahoga County Democratic Party. And so when Shante Brown was the party chairman and they had an opening for somebody to run for Congress, she became a shoo-in. I could see a situation where I do not believe, I don't care what they say, I do not believe that Alicia Reese is content to remain a county commissioner until she retires. She's got bigger aspirations, and she's good at what she do, and I think that it was a mistake for Greg Lance. I'm kind of getting off track. I can hear, my brain is telling me
I got to wrap
you
it
drifted. But I wanted to talk about this whole myth, and that's why you get people like these black MAGAs who get wrapped up in their bubble, their information bubble, their silo, whatever you want to call it, and they get to thinking everybody's agreeing with me, everybody's thinking like me, everybody's talking like me. Stephon is a shoo-in. He's gonna be the. Now, I want to say one last thing. So I heard I was out and about this morning. I listened to 55 KRC. They had Chris Smitherman call in. Before Chris Smitherman called in, they was shocked. They was shook. They had believed this Signal 99 mess, this propaganda. They were convinced that they had succeeded in scaring the heebie-jeebies out of Cincinnati voters, that crime was the number one issue, and that people was going to be voting on crime. So the host, Brian Thomas, kept saying, I just don't understand. How could this happen? And people start calling in. One guy called in and said, it must have been some shenanigans down at the Board of Elections. Chris Smitherman probably is the number one vote getter. He ought to go demand a hand recount. They are loony, but I can see why they're loony, because all they've been hearing is Chris Smitherman is great. He's got, and one guy broke it down. He said, there's no way Chris wasn't the number one vote getter. He's got all these white voters, and he's got name recognition, and he's been on council. He was the vice mayor, and he's got a lot of support in the black community. And I said, this is a mistake. Now, I bet that Chris Smitherman, first of all, did he advertise? I know he didn't advertise on the Bulls, but did he advertise on the Wiz and on the other Radio 1 station?
I don't know.
See, I think Chris Smitherman used to say, we don't have any permanent enemies and permanent friends. I bet Chris Smitherman is kicking himself. Black people, here I go. Don't jump on me. Don't make me start cussing at you. But some people have short memories. And I bet if Chris Smitherman had a ran ass, he didn't never have to call Lincoln. He could have just ran ass, talking about all the great things he was doing for black people and he had done, and reminded them that he used to be the president of the NAACP. I bet a whole bunch of people would have been out there saying, I'm voting for Chris Smitherman. He could have won if he wasn't so petty and so mad at black people and at that black radio station. If he had reached out to black people, made a real live effort, he probably could have won. He could have beat the machine even without having his name on the Republican ballot. That was another mistake. He wouldn't put his name on the ballot. But so anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. Another day, I want to give you a suggestion because I said earlier in chat that I was going to pick a fight with Miss Janice. And here's the thing. There's a difference between campaigning and governing. And I am so mad at Miss Janice and Julie Johnson, Scotty's family, and with some of these people who understand what it takes to win. Somebody called and said, Mika that old crazy Yvonne Collins. Mika just did what she had to do to get elected. My problem with them, and I want you to do a show on
All right,
what is the role.
Quickly.
Yeah, what is the role of council people? Is the role? How does the legislative branch of local government hold the executive branch of local government accountable? And that's my problem with Scotty and all the people who keep saying Scotty can't do nothing, Jan Michelle can't do nothing. What good is voting for them if they can't do nothing to hold the administration accountable? But again, I appreciate your time. We'll chop that up on another day.
All right. Thank you for your call.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get somebody in here from the Democratic Party to talk about how the Democratic Party works. What's the benefit? Because you have not joined the Democratic Party just because you vote Democrat. Just because, you registered as a Democrat. You've not joined the party. You can actually join the party. Now, there's still politics in the party. But you can join, or the Republican Party too. You can join the party. And, yeah. Kind of be a part of the machine. Yeah, you can do that. All right, y'all. I got to get ready to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Hold on, but somebody asked a question, and when I see stuff in here that just is completely untrue, and people trying to pass it off as true, I might have to address it. Somebody asked about why some people don't like Lincoln Ware. And Pamela says, it's mostly jealousy why some people don't like him. Some were mad/jealous that he drove a free car from Jeff Wyler dealership for years. That's just a lie. And, well, let me say it's factually inaccurate. Because I believe a lie is when you know it's not true and, there's a few elements to something being a lie. That is factually inaccurate. A lot of people love Lincoln Ware because he's a personable guy. I don't know of a single human on the planet who's jealous of him because he drove a Jeff Wyler car. Not a single one. There's some people who like him, there's some people who love him, and then there's some people who don't like him. And again, this ain't necessarily about Lincoln, but I really need people to stop just saying foolish stuff just for the sake of saying foolish stuff. Look, your relationship with a person is not the same as everybody else's relationship with that person. So while a person might be super duper nice to you, they might be super duper mean to someone else. And then you see them, you meet them, and you're like, oh, they nice. Oh, they cool. And then you talk to somebody who they're not so nice to, and they like, that dude is mean. And you, no, he not mean. He ain't never been mean. He don't have a mean bone in his body. Because he's not mean to you, or because she's not mean to you. I just need grown people to stop saying stupid stuff. Just people have their own individual relationships with people. If somebody's mean to you, it doesn't mean that they're mean to everybody. Someone's nice to you, it doesn't mean that they're nice to everyone. And if they're mean to you and you don't like them because of the way that they've treated you or something that they've done, it don't mean you jealous. It just means you don't like them. And you have a right to not like people that you don't like. And nobody else has to know. There ain't no reason for them not like him. You don't know who he is to every individual in their life. You don't know who she is to every individual in their life. So, yeah, that's it. There are people who can't stand me. And I'm not mean to anyone. Anyone. But I know I rub people the wrong way. I ask questions that I shouldn't ask, or, question things that I shouldn't question, and all of that kind of stuff. And it can be annoying to some people. Just asking the question can be annoying to some people, and they like, he an a-hole. I guess depending on your definition of an a-hole, I could be an a-hole. But then you tell that to somebody else, and they like, Emanuel? No, Emanuel is not that. Emanuel is... and they might break it down like, yeah, he gonna ask you questions, this, that. But Emanuel ain't mean to nobody. And those people are probably wrong too. Because I've been mean to people. There are some people out there who don't like me because we've had negative interactions. And they got a right to not like me. So, yeah, that's it. It's just... hero worship bothers me. Hero worship bothers me. People are people. People are people. That's it. You were mean to Twin Raya. I was not mean. I was not. Not mean at all. I was telling the truth. Emmanuel, I can't see you being mean because you joke a lot. Well, I mean, if you mean to me, then I'm probably gonna return it after a while. Like, yeah, I do joke a lot, but after when I'm finished joking, and you still just being mean, all right, this is how you want us to be. And I can be mean with the best of them, or the worst of them, however you want to look at it. But it's never my desire. Never my desire to be mean to anyone. But if you know what I'm saying, if you pull it out, you pull it out.
Kevin says opinion is like your backside. Most everybody got one. I mean, I know some ladies might be lacking in the backside, but even they got one. DeAndre say, but you want people to call you the king. You don't have to call me the king. I don't want people to call me the king. I am the king. But I'm a humble king. So I don't run around forcing people to call me the king. I mean, you are what you are. Nothing you can do about it. Did you hear the conversation between Iris Rowley and your Nate on Lincoln's show? I did not. I didn't get a chance to listen to Lincoln today. I did not. No, didn't get a chance to listen. E-Man is a mental terrorist. I just ask questions. I don't understand why asking questions and having some sort of a standard is bad to some people. I do. I like to ask questions to have a great understanding of people. Yeah, that's it. Twin.
You know you mean, man. Quit pump faking on here.
Who've I ever been mean to that you know of?
You mean and you a hater.
Who've I ever been mean to that you know of?
You Bangkok me the other day, Monday. Got rid of me, got me up through.
I did what?
Real quick. You Bangkok me, hung up on me real quick.
No, I didn't. You hung up. I was talking and you hung up. I didn't hang up on you.
You tried to overtalk me. You tried to overtalk the guest.
Don't lie.
You say you the king of talk.
Don't lie. You hung up.
You the king of rapping and everything.
Hold on, but wait. Let's clear this up. You hung up.
I'm not clearing nothing up with you Livingston brothers.
What?
I can't stand y'all Livingston brothers.
I can't stand the Livingston brothers either. I hate the Livingston brothers. But you hung up on Monday, just to be clear.
Yeah, you probably pissed me off before.
Okay. All right.
What's up, E-Man? You all right, man?
I'm all right, man. What's going on with you?
No, I feel like I'm getting sick or something.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't sound... Did the walking pneumonia come back? Running pneumonia?
No, I'm stressing and everything.
Resting pneumonia?
No. A little bit of stress and thinking too much and in and out the cold and everything.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Just so I'm clear, did you say you think you're sick because a little bit of stress and thinking too much?
No, I've been stressing. I'm just saying I've been stressing a little bit, but I'm telling you now, I was in and out of the cold.
Oh.
And the change of weather and all that. But around this time, I get sick real bad and all that. But, man.
Well, come on, bro. You got to calm down. First, relax. Breathe. You know what I'm saying? You do allow yourself to be stressed out. And we don't want...
I do that, man.
Yeah.
I think I need a...
Yeah, we don't want you to not feel good, to be sick.
Yeah.
So, I don't wish that on anybody. So, yeah, don't stress and definitely don't think too hard. And just, wear a jacket, I guess, if you got to run outside and run back in. Even though I don't believe that the change in temperature makes people sick.
Usually I get out the shower and run straight outside or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that actually makes people sick.
Well, different strokes for different folks. So you wouldn't even know.
Well, I mean, if it don't make people sick, I could be wrong. I've talked to a number of
I get changed. Man, it's changing the weather all the time. I get like this and everything. So it's changing the weather. And I do get like this.
Well,
so I'm be all right, though.
Well, what's wrong with you? I mean, other than clearly, sounds like some sort of congestion or something in your throat or your throat.
No, it used to be in my throat, and then I got you having headaches and all that.
Headaches,
So,
that's from the thinking too much.
yeah. And
And
then,
the throat thing, I'll give you, that's from getting out the shower and running outside.
I just told you I change the weather, man. I get sick around this time, man. What part you don't understand? It's been like this ever since I was a shorty. So that's
Have
what
you
it is.
you still got that cane?
It's over there in the corner.
All right, make sure you use it, bro. I don't want nothing to happen to you.
No, I don't need it. If I need them, knock one of you Livingston brothers out. If I really need it.
I
But I'm
encourage
alright,
you. I encourage you to find all the Levinson brothers and knock them all out.
I can't even laugh. Oh, it hurts. I'm going to get out, man. Hey, have a good one, man.
All right.
All right, man.
All right. Try not to think too hard. Hold on. He did say that, right? He said he been stressed and he been thinking too much. And you combine that with the change in the weather, and it makes him sick. I guess it could happen. You know, it could happen. He did not sound that sick at all on Wyatt's show today. And maybe my show had him thinking, which, you know, activated the sick. And, you know, now he got something in his throat. I hope you feel better. I really do hope you feel better. Actually, Mimi.
I hate those damn Livingston brothers.
I hate those Livingston brothers. I want everybody to get, well, I don't want to say get out. I don't want to say I want you to get out. But I want everybody to enjoy. Hopefully you got out and you enjoyed the day today. It was a good day. Oh, shoot. I got like 4 minutes. Hold on. There was a story. Did y'all see the story about the Fight Club? Did y'all see the story about the Fight Club? A Cincinnati man and an Aurora man is charged in connection with an alleged fight club involving juveniles. Did y'all see that story? I thought everybody knew the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club, but apparently somebody told. And over there in Indiana, there was an alleged fight club. The prosecutor's office said in the release that the sheriff's office got a tip from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office about an 8th grader involved in fights in the Sunman area. The following day, an Indiana Gaming Commission officer received a complaint from a concerned citizen about a fight club involving juveniles. Now, y'all know what this, you know, how they set up them little cages and then people get in the cages and fight. And I don't know if they give them money or, you know, they just doing it for whatever. And then they post the videos. Well, apparently these guys was doing that, allegedly. These guys were doing that. And they didn't get a gaming license. So now they're charged with, failure to get a gaming license. Which, you know, the harshest penalty they can get is like 180 days in jail. So a guy from Cincinnati and a guy from Aurora, Indiana. And, you know, somebody was asking, well, why can't they charge them with, you know, doing something to a minor or, you know, some whatever. And they said, look, they can't because it's voluntary. They're not forcing anybody to get into the cage and fight each other. They're volunteering to do it. The only thing that we can get them with is not having a gaming license. But if they get a gaming license,
I'm guessing they okay. You can have the what was a 14-year-old? You could have two 14-year-olds come in the cage and fight. She got a gaming license. I feel like Fight Club with minors maybe should be illegal. But then again, look, what's the difference between that and boxing? And they had little bitty kids boxing. And if you volunteer, like, yeah, I want to get in the cage, then you get in the cage with somebody else. And y'all go. It's like, yeah, I want to get in the ring. Then you get in the ring. Just like with wrestling. Yeah, I want to get on the mat. Then you get on the mat. But I saw it and I thought, that's very interesting. A little Fight Club. And they posting the videos on Facebook. I mean, it just is what it is. I can't necessarily say that I'm against it. But, you know, just do it legally. Do it legally. There was another story, a sad story. Nat says, if you can get prison time for fighting dogs, can you get it for fighting teenagers? I'm going to say no. I mean, unless you like giving them weapons and forcing them to do it. Like if you are raising kids for the purpose of fighting other kids to the death, you probably go to jail for that. You probably go to jail for that. That's more what the dog fighting thing is. They raising dogs to put them in the ring and, you know, make them fight to the death. It's a little different. It's a little different. All right. I don't want to hit the sad story because I don't want to be sad and upset. So I'm going to just end it with that. I'm going to just end it with that and let that be that. Everybody enjoy your evening. And I'm going to go, because I haven't worn that CPAP stuff in a long time. So now I got to go upstairs and clean every piece of that CPAP, because ain't no telling what dust and pollen and germs and all of that kind of stuff. It says, and dogs can't say no. Exactly. So yeah, ain't no telling all of that kind of stuff. So I got to go clean it all the way out because I don't want a repeat of yesterday. I still don't feel great. So I'm going to go clean it out, and I'm laying down. I'm like twin, you know, except for I'm not getting sick from too much thinking. I'm getting sick from not wearing that CPAP machine. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. And as always, be the reason that somebody smiles this evening. Till next time I'm out, y'all.